Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Thunder Today YouTube channel. I am your host, Dylan Hibbard, and in today's video, we're just going to kind of talk about the 2024 Thunder versus the 2025 Thunder. Within their first 7 games, both these teams starting off 7-0, so we'll dive into both sides, both seasons, and kind of get our thoughts on who might have had the better start. We'll talk about the Thunder Clippers game that is late on tonight. It's a late game starting at 10 p.m. Central Time here in Oklahoma, so 8 p.m. out West Coast, but nearly 11 p.m. Eastern on the East Coast. And then we'll kind of do our matchup to watch for the game because Clippers are one of the better teams. So on those types of games, we'll kind of do a matchup to watch for the game. But just to kind of talk about the 2024 Thunder versus the 25 Thunder, we're kind of look through these first 7 games. Both these teams started 7-0, so now you can go and look back at whatever you want with the 7 games. You can look at how well they played, opponents they played, all of that, and kind of get an idea of who had the better start in whichever season. So last year the Thunder start 7-0 and they beat the Nuggets on opening night, a really hard fought game. You had games against Clippers, Trailblazers, Magic, teams like that, and they won pretty steadily. Had a game against the Spurs early on in the season, and they started off pretty strongly. Pretty much everybody was there outside of Isaiah Hartenstein. That was when Chet was going off early on in the season when he was playing, and Thunder were looking like where they picked up of the previous regular season before they got eliminated by the Mavericks in the second round. So they started off really good at 7-0 start, and the Thunder actually lost their 8th game against the Nuggets. If you remembered, it was in Denver, and I believe they lost by 124 to 122. So they went 7-1. So if the Thunder can go out there tonight and beat the Clippers and go 8-0, it would be their best start in at least these 2 years and one of the best starts in franchise history. So that's going to be another thing. If the Thunder can win tonight and be 8-0, then they'll have a better start. But we're going just through 7 games. And then you look at this year's team in the 2025 Thunder. They obviously started off 7-0, had the 2 double overtime victories, had some close ones against some lesser opponents in that, but also had some blowouts, obviously, with the Pelicans on Sunday in a 30-plus point win. But they've also kind of looked more at points kind of at least on the 3-point shooting, they've looked a bit lackluster. Now, Isaiah Joe in the past 2 games since he's come back, the Thunder and him have looked a lot better and made the numbers not look as terrible. But Shea has gotten off to a really, really bad start at shooting threes, and obviously that will hopefully measure out over the season and it will kind of level out to a more normal number. But still, starting off shooting under 25% from 3 is not really where you want to be because teams will start letting you shoot that, and obviously once you are hitting it, they'll get it back out there. But if you're shooting under 25%, that pretty much means they can let you shoot 5 threes and you're only going to make 1 of those. So they're going to live with that, especially with them knowing how good Shea's in the mid-range. If Shea wants to chuck up those threes, they will. So that's another thing. But just on the standpoint of who got off to the better start, I almost lean 2025 because you have to look at the fact that outside of Hartenstein, that last year's team was fully healthy. They were out there in 7-0. This year's team, we've been already dealing without J-Dub throughout all 7 of these games. We don't have Chet for half of this 7-0 start. He's been out for 3. We've had Caruso miss a couple games. Lou Dort wasn't there yesterday. We've had guys kind of mix and match and miss time already, and they're still out there dominating and being 7-0. And obviously, they don't look as pretty off rip, but with that championship hangover, you had the shortest amount of time between any team in the league. You had the shortest amount of off-season time to recover and all that, and you're back out there. So obviously guys aren't going to be come back completely locked in, but that's exactly what this Thunder team looks like. They look like they're out there to hunt the repeat just as bad as they wanted to hunt the first title last year, and that's exactly what you want to see. If you can get young guys buying in and really just continuing to put it pedal to the metal. And right now, especially with some of these bench guys that are getting a lot of run time because we're not fully healthy. They got to take advantage of it, and it's that next guy up mentality, and that just has the team going such a long way. It's not just Shea having to do stuff. Obviously, the arrival of A.J. Mitchell going off. We talked about Hartenstein yesterday, Aaron Wiggins doing his thing, and just all these pieces contributing without our second and third best player. I think you just have to look at that's the better start. And I think if we go, and we'll kind of transition into talking about this game, but if we can go 8-0 and have one of the best starts in franchise history, that's going to be even better, and you're going to look even more dominant. And the Clippers are going to be a tough task. You have the Thunder. You have to go out west to LA in a very late timetable. You're looking at a 10 p.m. start in Los Angeles. So whether or not that affects the players, probably not, because they're so used to traveling. But still, that's a later start. We're going to see how it goes. Obviously, the Clippers should be a playoff team. They don't have any. They have Kawhi. They have James Harden. They have Derek Jones Jr. They have all these guys out there: John Collins, Zubac, Brook Lopez. A lot of older players, but guys who know how to play their role and play it very well. Where the Clippers are going to be a team that will probably be around that bottom in that play-in more than likely, and they'll be battling out along there all the time. So for the Thunder, this is going to be a big one, a big road test going out west. And if you win, you're going up to 8-0, and you're just going to continue to look like you can't be stopped and possibly on your way to rivaling the Warriors of 2016 with 73 wins. And I know it is very early on, and we're probably going to talk about it a lot all season long about this 70 win and even possibly the 72, 73 wins. It's as long as the Thunder continue to play, and I think it's up to a lot of the players, I think, because last year they were on pace to win 70 pretty easily, but we clinched the 1 seed a month before the season even ended, and we kind of let up the gas. So it's going to be interesting to see how the Thunder approach that, if they want to, like, once they hit 70 wins, then they're kind of backing off of it, or how they want to approach it. Because, I mean, it just feels like on a night in and night out basis, it's going to be very hard for, over the span of 82 games, more than 10, 12 people or 10, 12 teams that are going to beat this team. Maybe just based off of a night, maybe where you can just not miss and the Thunder are just not hitting shots. Maybe Shea has an off night where he only scores 24, 25 points, and you're just able to luck out of there with a win. That I could see that. But for the Clippers and Thunder side of things, this is going to be a big test. Obviously, the Clippers, like I said, are a playoff team. They have guys like Kawhi, Harden, who's been there, done that. But we obviously heard from Shea in the starting five in the Netflix documentary. He kind of turns it up every time he plays the Clipper, because he wants no doubt in everybody's mind on who won that trade. So obviously we should expect to see a big game from Shea tonight, and hopefully we can continue to dominate, go 8-0, and get closer to go one game at a time, but get to that 10-0 and then try to get to 15-0. And I think really if we start off 15-0, that's when I'm going to be, if we can get to that maybe 15-0 mark, or maybe around the 20-game mark, we're 19-1 or 20-1, I really will start believing that 70 win is creeping up, and it's a very real possibility. So we're going to have to see how the Thunder progress throughout the season. It obviously depends on health and a lot of who are your back-to-backs and all that. So it's going to be interesting to kind of follow along all season long. But we'll kind of wrap up talking about matchup of the night for the game between the Clippers and Thunder. And I think the matchup I'm going to be watching is the big man lineup. We obviously have Hartenstein. We don't have Chet. We're going to see if Chet returns. I'm not sure if he's scheduled to return. If not, he should be back later this week. But you have Hartenstein. Obviously, Zubac is a good big man out there, and he plays his role very well. Now they have Brook Lopez, but you also have lengthy, long guys at the four like John Collins, Derek Jones Jr. So it's going to be interesting to watch that matchup down low in the rebounding and on the offensive side and the defensive side, the blocking out. It's going to be interesting to see how Hartenstein gets after it. Obviously, I think Jay will have a big impact in this. And then you also have to look at some of your other guys, like maybe a Lou Dort guards one of the bigger guys or somebody like that. So it's going to be interesting to see. I think a big part of it is going to be that interior and kind of the big man of Zubac and Brook Lopez versus Hartenstein and Jay will kind of be the deciding factor. We know Kawhi or Harden, one of the two of them will most likely go off for 20 plus or however it might be. Then you're going to have Shea and AJ Mitchell seems like doing their thing, and then as long as the Thunder just play their game and we can win that rebounding battle or keep it close and continue to shoot good threes, it should be an easy win and get to an 8-0 record. But that'll be it for me today, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Once again, make sure you hit the like button and subscribe button down below. It helps out the channel so much, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.